Alright, so we can now agree that Sonic 3 was a good time, right? Best video game adaptation ever? No, it's still very flawed, but it's definitely fun, and it mostly does justice to the things that it really needed to. Namely Shadow himself. If only he had more than 70 minutes of screen time. Okay, sorry, off topic. So yeah, every Sonic movie ends off with a little post-credit scene that essentially just sets up the plot of the next movie, kinda. The director even said so himself. They seem to kinda just wing it. They just pick a character that just seems cool to them, I guess. I mean, if it was me, I'd have Amy introduced before Shadow, but whatever. So yeah, Sonic 3 sets up its sequel with a post-credit scene that left me both excited and, well, incredibly disappointed. Let's break down this scene real quick. It's like a minute long, so this won't take much time. Sonic's in New York, out of nowhere. He says some annoying stuff, but that's par for the course by now. And behind him, Metal Sonic appears in what is probably a Terminator reference. I mean, it doesn't have the huge energy ball thing, but the pose and the lighting and whatever, that checks out, right? And when I first saw this, I was like, whoa, Metal Sonic! Metal Sonic? Like, I was excited to see him in at first, but then I was like, why is there no fanfare at all for him? He just appears. He's not like a big reveal like Shadow was before, he's just here. He might as well just be a regular goon, like any other robot from Robotnik's arsenal. I mean, he looks cool. Honestly, it feels like a pretty direct translation of the game's design, but still, he had the opportunity to sort of get the jump on Sonic, but then he just gets his ass kicked. That's an awful way to introduce a character that's actually supposed to be super cool. Like, show him being cool, show him actually kicking Sonic's ass a bit, make him feel like a real threat. But the worst part is that right after, it's revealed that there's not only one Metal Sonic, there's a bunch. It's just an army of Metal Sonics, and okay, I'll get to why I hate this soon. Amy appears and it's actually pretty cool. I saw this in an empty theater with some buddies and we all just sort of jumped in excitement and yelled at it freely. Apparently her hammerhead just sort of detaches itself from the body and flies around, which is another thing. She just defeats all the Metal Sonics so incredibly easily. I mean, come on. But yeah, she appears, she looks really cool. This one shot is actually really awesome. Her jumping out with the big moon behind her, being shattered after the events of the movie, which makes absolutely no sense, but whatever. I get that the hood is here, so this scene will be cooler with her removing it and now like it's a big reveal, but like it's kinda pointless. Literally everyone knew it was Amy the moment the Metal Sonics exploded. And yeah, that's the scene. Let me explain why they did my boy dirty. So Metal Sonic is probably like legitimately the coolest character in Sonic, and some of you might think that it's Shadow, and while he's cool in this movie, well, listen, I kinda always hated Shadow. Like my entire life. I always thought he was the dumbest thing ever. He's just this goofy little character that's so edgy and think he's better than everyone else. But honestly, that was my mistake. I misunderstood Shadow, and once I truly got what he was about, he became one of my favorite Sonic characters. Shadow's thing is that he thinks he's so cool, but he isn't. He's goofy. He's that one guy that thinks he's the best, but everyone around him just thinks he's a weirdo. He's so incredibly over the top and stupid in the games that I just can't help but appreciate it. Movie Shadow is actually cool though. They actually managed to make him a really sympathetic and awesome character. I love him. While Shadow in the games think he's cool but is actually goofy, Metal Sonic for me is the one that is actually legitimately cool. It doesn't say anything, he literally has no mouth, he has dark eyes with red pupils and is just a cold machine that's out for blood. Plus he paved the way for the existence of Super Mario Bros. Z's version of Mega Sonic, which is actually one of the best and most intimidating villains ever. So Metal Sonic is pretty dope, I like him, and as someone that enjoyed Sonic 3 even though the other movies were very bad, I was excited to see when and how they'd bring this beloved, cool character to the story. How Metal Sonic would be translated from his cool game self to the big screen. Oh. Man, it's kinda late for a title drop, but whatever. It's kinda weird to me how no one else has a problem with this. I mean, Sonic fans have freaked out about way less important things before. So Metal Sonic is apparently actually an army of robots in the movie universe, instead of being just one guy. For me, that's a really bad change. I mean, okay, I'm not aware of literally everything that has happened in the Sonic franchise. Maybe there's a game or like an obscure comic issue where there's an army of Metal Sonics, but none of it is really mainstream. As far as I've always known, Metal Sonic is one character, not multiple. And he's, important. He's one of Sonic's biggest rivals, and it absolutely makes sense for him to be a big reveal in the post-credit scene of the movie. But not like this. I mean, let's just look at the way he's presented. First off, he just appears in a context that so far makes no sense. Like, Sonic got to New York by accident, right? Why is he here? This is a smaller issue though, because it doesn't matter all that much, and they might explain it later in the sequel. But okay, look at how he's presented. He just appears. There's no musical cue or shot composition in place that really makes him look awesome and important. He just really feels like a regular one-off villain evil robot. Amy gets that. She's treated like a huge reveal that's meant to excite you, and the same goes to Shadow in Sonic 2's post-credit scene. Why didn't they do the same to Metal? And then he just gets easily overwhelmed by Sonic. Like, this Metal Sonic by himself does not feel at all like he'd be any problem to Sonic. He just feels really pathetic. And then it's revealed that there's just an army of Metal Sonic, and the reason I hate that is that it just makes Metal himself so much less special. I mean, why would he be special at all when there's a bunch of him and they all explode? They never seem like a real threat. They don't feel like a big character reveal. They just feel like cannon fodder for Amy to look cooler. And I agree that Amy should have gotten her moment to shine and look cool like this. Her big character reveal, but not to the detriment of one of the coolest characters in the franchise. Like, these post-credit scenes would not change in context if these were some other generic Eggman robots instead of Metal Sonic. Now, I know, the sequel is not here yet. I haven't watched it. So yeah, it's possible that all these problems I have will be rectified. Like, maybe the plot of the sequel is that this is a Metal Sonic hive mind that all share the same thoughts, commanded by a big and more powerful Metal Sonic, sort of like Ultron in Avengers 2, which is something that maybe has happened in the franchise before too, but whatever, maybe that's what's gonna happen. And maybe it will be cool. But the way it's presented here just feels like a waste. Like, wasted potential for a character that could have been way more. Like, if I was the one writing these movies, I first wouldn't have killed Eggman off, because Metal Sonic by himself doesn't really make sense without Eggman, and second, I would have given Metal Sonic an actual character. Wouldn't even need to be anything super complex or unique. In fact, my idea would be for Metal Sonic to start off as this evil henchman to Eggman, a rival to Sonic that's just as, if not stronger than him, who slowly throughout the movie would have learned to think for himself instead of doing Eggman's bidding. Like, okay, maybe even keeping Eggman's death in, make him the last remnants of his will. Like, even after dying, Eggman's machine son is still around to chase after Sonic. And it all lead up to him questioning why he's doing all of this, why he's carrying the will of someone who's long gone by now. Would he then be good? Would he continue to chase after Sonic, but now on his terms? Who's to say? It'd be really cool to have that aspect left open by the end of the film. And okay, I realize now that this is pretty similar to Omega and that other weird robot from Sonic Adventure 1, but whatever. As a Metal Sonic enjoyer, I just wish that they would do something more with him, something special. He's not really a character in the games, he's more of a weapon, so a movie would actually be a really great opportunity to have him grow, be something more than what he was designed to be. But I don't think that's happening. Maybe they'll go with the Ultron thing, or maybe Metal Sonic will just stay as an easily defeatable enemy for a goofy Sonic characters to defeat with little to no issue. We'll only know in like 2026 or something, and I hope to be proven wrong. I mean, they could have had such a cool character review with Metal eventually if they played their cards right, but instead it feels like he was just relegated to this. I don't know, imagine if we had a post-credit scene where Eggman's been defeated, but he's hiding in his lab, and he reveals to the audience his greatest invention, a perfect copy of Sonic, made using the energy from Sonic's quills. I just don't think that having Metal be this nothing burger character that is just there for our heroes to destroy is absolutely not the way to go. He deserves more, especially considering how he's been portrayed in the games as of late. Remember his first appearance, where he was an actual like surprise, like wow, oh my god, it's an evil Sonic, oh my god. And at this point there's been so many evil Sonics in the franchise that the first time just really stands out more, you know? But he's the quintessential evil Sonic. He's literally just supposed to be an evil copy of Sonic, not an army. That isn't to say that I can appreciate a new, fresh idea being done with the character, if that idea is done right. And so far, I'm not liking what I'm seeing. Anyway, let me know what you think. If you agree or disagree, I legitimately would love to hear it. So, please subscribe and yeah.
Yeah, I overshot the finish line.